Welcome to News Edge, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. The world expected a show of force. It was September 4th, 2025. Beijing was ready for another grand military parade, a tradition meant to showcase China's strength. The world's media gathered, anticipating a familiar display of tanks, missiles, and soldiers. But what unfolded was something no one could have predicted. The morning began as usual, clear blue skies, silent streets, President Xi Jinping on the grandstand, cameras poised, then a subtle shift, the music softened, more reflective than martial. Instead of tanks, a procession of ordinary citizens appeared, doctors, nurses, construction workers, teachers, scientists, and small business owners. They carried symbols of their trades, stethoscopes, blueprints, books, not weapons. It was a parade of the people, a celebration of civil society, unprecedented in a state-controlled spectacle. The world watched, first confused, then captivated. This was not a military parade, it was a civilian one. The participants were real people, chosen from across China, marching with pride and quiet determination. The message was clear. This was about the resilience and importance of the Chinese people. For a government that prizes control, allowing such a display was shocking, almost revolutionary. The world leaned in, trying to understand what it was witnessing. The usual narrative of state power was replaced by a new story, one of ordinary citizens at the center. The parade was not just a show, but a statement. The faces in the procession reflected a nation's diversity and strength. The world's leaders, analysts, and citizens were left searching for answers. The parade had upended expectations in a single morning. It was a moment of national self-reflection, broadcast to the world. The script had been rewritten, live, on Beijing's grandest stage. The world was watching, and China had everyone's attention. The question now, what did it all mean? The surprises kept coming. After the professionals came artists, painters, dancers, musicians, celebrating culture, not conquest. The vibrant colors and sounds replaced the usual military drabness. The most stunning moment, the float of open dialogue, where university students held up blank white placards, symbols of unspoken thoughts and a desire for openness. Environmental scientists followed, carrying saplings and presenting data on China's environmental challenges and progress. The parade ended not with jets but with thousands of doves and a children's choir singing of peace. The event was a masterpiece of political theater, but no one had the script. Observers were left with more questions than answers. Was this a genuine opening, or a clever way to control the narrative? The world had never seen China like this. The parade redefined the nation's image in just a few hours. The message: true strength lies in facing challenges, not hiding them. All eyes were on President Xi Jinping. On the Tiananmen rostrum, his calm mask slipped, just for a moment. Cameras caught tension in his jaw, his eyes darting, his hands briefly clenched. The float with students and blank placards seemed to catch him off guard. Was this parade his idea, or a sign of internal division? For a leader who built his rule on control, this celebration of civil society was the opposite of his usual message. The parade shattered the image of a nation marching in lockstep. Other voices, other ideas were suddenly on display. Xi's reaction was not anger, but profound surprise. As the doves were released, he clapped, slowly, deliberately, his expression unreadable. The world saw a crack in the monolith. The image of his clenched fist would be analyzed for months. The parade had shocked not just the world, but the man at its center. China's supreme leader had been taken by surprise on his own stage. At Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald Trump watched, expecting a show of military might. Instead, he saw doctors, teachers, and artists, China as he'd never imagined. Confused, he reportedly asked, "Where are the tanks? Where are the missiles?" His narrative of China as a monolithic military threat was unraveling live on TV. In a later statement, Trump called it a trick. "They want us to think they are soft, but I know better. Very clever." He couldn't process the event outside his framework of conflict and deception. How do you stand up to a parade of doctors and children releasing doves? The parade challenged his narrative more than any missile could. Trump's response frustrated confusion. Beijing's move had thrown one of its loudest critics off balance. The world saw a new kind of power on display. On Beijing's streets, reactions were mixed: pride, confusion, hope, and skepticism. "I've never seen anything like this," whispered a retired factory worker. "This is about us." Many felt honored, seeing ordinary people celebrated. But younger viewers, like university student Lin, wondered, are we now allowed to ask questions, or is this just another performance? Decades of state control made sudden openness hard to trust. Foreign journalists noted the thoughtful, contemplative mood. "The government is showing us a new face today. We hope it is a true face," said a local shopkeeper. The parade sparked deep conversations, not just celebration. Participants felt honored. "For the first time, I felt the nation was thanking us with action," said a doctor. The event created a powerful emotional connection even as it raised difficult questions. The whispers in the crowd were not of simple joy but of cautious optimism. The parade had touched hearts but also stirred doubts. China's people were left wondering what would come next. The future felt uncertain but newly possible. Beijing was wrapped in an unusual silence during the parade. Crowds watched with quiet intensity, not the usual cheers. The elevation of everyday professions created a moment of national introspection. In old hutongs, generations watched together, elders recalling community, youth sharing memes and skepticism. The parade was a national Rorschach test. Everyone saw something different. Security was heavy, but even police seemed curious, not just vigilant. For a few hours, the line between state and people blurred. The mood was collective uncertainty, not fear. As the city returned to normal, a sense of possibility lingered. The parade had broken the mold. Conversations sparked everywhere, in subways, restaurants, offices. The city was on the cusp of something new. The first page of a new chapter had just been written. The parade became the world's top news story within minutes. Major networks aired live footage, headlines flashed, Beijing's unprecedented peace parade. The sight of doctors and blank placards told a story that needed no translation. News anchors and experts scrambled to interpret the event. "I've never seen anything like this," admitted a veteran journalist. The ambiguity fueled endless debate. Was this confidence or weakness? Social media exploded. Hashtag Beijing Parade trended worldwide. Memes replaced tanks with tractors, soldiers with grandmothers. The world saw a new, more complex China. Governments issued cautious statements, embassies scrambled for answers. Was this a genuine shift or a calculated move? The parade forced every government to reassess its view of China. The global political landscape had shifted, subtly but unmistakably. In the days after, the political fallout took shape. State media hailed the parade as proof of the people's power under party leadership. National pride surged, but questions about the government's motives lingered. Internationally, analysts debated, was this a compromise between hardliners and reformers? Some saw it as a victory for those seeking a softer image to ease tensions. Western policymakers were left uncertain. Should they engage or be wary of a sophisticated trick? The debate paralyzed foreign policy, giving China more room to maneuver. In Asia, neighbors welcomed the non-military tone, lowering regional tensions. The parade opened a window for diplomacy, even as competition continued. The event reassured the region more than any statement could. The fallout was complex, new opportunities, new uncertainties. China's image had changed, but its intentions remained unclear. The world was left watching and waiting. The Beijing Parade of September 4, 2025, was a watershed moment. It replaced military spectacle with a celebration of civilian life. Key moments, the procession of doctors, the blank placards, the doves, created a new narrative. President Xi's visible shock sparked debate about his control and the party's future. The event disrupted global narratives, challenging the view of China as a simple military threat. The mood in Beijing was thoughtful, hopeful, and cautious. The world's governments and citizens were forced to see China anew. Was this the start of real change or a sophisticated strategy? The only certainty, China had shown itself to be more complex and unpredictable than ever. The world will be watching to see which chapter is written next.